welcome back. We are here with an amazing woman who is doing things in the community to transform the lives of individuals. Tracy Clark, how are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. I'm so glad to be here and thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you are here. So the organization that you work with is Coburn Place. Tell us a little bit about what Coburn Place is and what you all do. I'm very interested in this.
Absolutely. So, Coburn Place offers safe housing choices and supportive services to survivors of domestic violence and their children. So, what that looks like is up to 2 years of housing at no cost, no cost for utilities. Everything is taken care of for the survivors, and also a whole host of supportive services that we offer to provide holistic support to our survivors as well.
Okay, so the first thing is, how does a person, now unfortunately we know that being in this situation isn't the best thing in the first place, but if a person wants to come, if they're in a domestic violence situation, how do they go about getting support and help and assistance?
So we are not an emergency shelter, but we partner with many organizations that provide emergency services like Indie Champs. And what we do is we offer services to those who are connected with Indie Champs and other emergency shelters. So they would first contact an emergency shelter that can get them housed immediately or into some type of hotel immediately, and then we let them know that we have space and they send people to us.
Okay, so they send people to you, and what is you said it's called Indie Champs?
Yes.
And what is Indie Champs?
Indie Champs is actually partnered with the police department, and so they're the first ones that get the call when there's actually the disturbance going on inside of the homes.
Okay.
And they provide connection support as well as additional resources to survivors of domestic violence as well.
Absolutely never heard of that.
Oh.
And so that's a good thing, because when I hear about you all, I would think that I think of you all as kind of like the face if somebody needs immediate help, but you guys aren't. There's emergency shelters where someone goes to, and then they connect further.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, this problem is something that is too big for even all of the organizations that are existing right now to solve. So we are constantly full and always looking for ways to expand. But we want to make sure that we don't put that trauma on the survivor as well by putting them on wait lists and things like that. So that's why we found that it's more trauma informed to work with some of the emergency shelters that can provide that housing right away.
Yeah, it is absolute massive issue, and it is a massive problem, and the work that you all do is beyond incredible, because this is something that personally is near and dear to my heart. Can you tell me why this is near and dear to you as well, and why you decided to begin to work with Coburn Place?
Absolutely. So I've been connected to Coburn Place in many ways, but the very first place that I was connected, or way that I was connected to Coburn Place, was as a survivor. I was in a place of need. I was in a relationship that unfortunately was full of domestic violence, physical, mental, and financial. And a friend of mine told me about Coburn Place. At that time, there was a wait list process. I went to get more information, and fortunately, a few months down the road, I was able to get housing from Coburn Place, and it was absolutely transformative for me and my children.
Now, I will ask this because you say a few months down the road, which for me, depending on the situation you're in, that can be kind of scary.
Absolutely.
To wait a few months down the road. So
Absolutely.
how was that experience for you personally?
It can be a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I had some support of family members, and many people don't have that support. Fortunately, I had a cousin, and I was able to go sleep on their couch while I waited for placement and while I waited to find somewhere for me and my children, but it's not always that case, which is why we partner with organizations like Indie Champs and like emergency services or emergency shelters so that we can get that survivor out of that home as soon as possible.
Yeah.
We talk often about safety planning and how important it is to start safety planning and determine how you're going to leave, the safest way to leave, because that's the most dangerous time when a survivor is about to leave. But one thing I tell people personally is no matter how much you've planned, If you get that intuition, that gut feeling that it's time to leave, it's just time to leave.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was the case in my case. I was at a YMCA on a regular day. My child was there. I was working out, and I got a phone call, and I just knew that I didn't know exactly what was going to happen if I went home, and I chose not to, and it was the best decision that I made.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to someone who is going through something like this, who is watching this, who is nervous about their next steps and is nervous about what to do? Because, I'm grateful I've never been in a situation like this, but I get scared for my friends, my family, for people in my life, that it's like, it truly can be a matter of life or death. So
Absolutely.
do you have any practical advice as to what a person can do if they are in a domestic violence situation?
Yeah, so I'll start from the beginning and just say know the signs. Because there are many individuals that are in a domestic violence situation and they don't realize that that is that. It's not just physical. For me, I thought that if I was not being physically abused daily, then I'm not in an abusive relationship. It only takes one time to be physical abuse, and sometimes it's not even just physical. It could be mental abuse, it could be financial abuse, it can be controlling tactics, isolation, not having you around the people that you're typically around. And so how you navigate that if you find yourself in a situation like that is the total opposite. Increase your support system. There are many supports out here, whether that's your family members or a community like Indie Champs or like Coburn Place or like ICADV and other organizations that provide materials, educational information, and safety planning for how to get yourself out of a situation like that.
What about also the stigma? I think that sometimes when it comes to domestic violence, there can be a stigma that surrounds it, that it's your fault.
Yeah.
And you did this, and perhaps even you deserve this. And so what do you say to people who are fighting those voices in their head that maybe they feel like ultimately that this was their fault and they chose this in some capacity?
I would say everyone deserves a safe home and everyone deserves to be in a safe atmosphere. I dealt with that stigma myself because unfortunately I left twice. It wasn't just one time, it was 2 times. And I felt a lot of shame about that for a very long time until I got deeper in this work and I realized that typically it takes up to 4 times for an individual to leave a relationship that is toxic or has domestic violence in it. So it takes multiple times to leave, and that is okay. So one thing that really helps is just normalizing the fact that these things happen and there is support systems and there are people who are supportive in the community that can really embrace you and can really offer you the tools that you need to get out of a situation like that. So I would say increase your support.
Yes, increase your support. And one place that is offering some of what we need is IKEA.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the partnership that you have with IKEA.
So IKEA and Coburn Place have been partnered for a long time. When you come into your unit as a survivor, your unit is fully furnished. Not only is it fully furnished, your pantries are full, your toiletries are there. You have everything you need because many times, just like myself, a survivor is leaving with nothing except for the clothes that they have on their back. And we want them to have that dignity, that safety, and just that warm feeling of being at home. And so that's where IKEA comes into place. They've donated furniture for some time, but right now they're doing a donation drive. And so you can actually shop IKEA's registry at coburnplace.org/IKEA. You can shop the registry, and when you shop the registry, those items will go to Coburn Place. You can also drop off at the Fisher's IKEA items, new items, kitchen supplies, as well as bathroom supply items that are new, like toothpaste, shampoo, and things of that nature.
I think I got a list over here. It's
wonderful.
It's toothpaste, body wash, hair gel, first aid kits, Band-Aids, trash bags, dish soap, and cleaning wipes. So children's toothpaste and adult toothpaste. So there are a lot of things that you can donate. I actually really, when I was reading that list, I really appreciated the fact that they had hair gel on there. Because, I think we think about things like, say, toothpaste, and we think about things like, say, body wash or deodorant, whatever, such like that. But we don't always think about, maybe someone wants to just look better.
Absolutely. And those little things like that are so important when it
Yeah.
comes to getting out of such a toxic relationship and coming home to a place to feel like home, to have your things for your type of hair, to be able to style your hair is something small that can make a world of a difference.
It can just make you feel better.
Yeah,
It can
absolutely.
do something to uplift you. So my presumption is that it's been a few years since you went through what you went through.
Yes.
And you were at Coburn Place at the time. And so what do you have to say to women right now who you're like, come, if you are in a space where you're going through a form of domestic violence, what do you have to say to those women and even possibly to survivors who may find themselves in the same situation again?
Absolutely, and we serve both men and women. That's
I
a
didn't know
stigma
that.
as well. Yep, that they're both they both can be survivors. But the biggest thing that I would say is that you are absolutely deserving, and you are absolutely worthy of love, worthy of support, worthy of healing with or without a partner. That was huge for me.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, a lot of my upbringing was around who you are when you have a partner. So nothing else mattered until you had a partner. And what that does is it creates a lot of blind spots and it creates a lot of time that you want to just stay in that relationship because you want this to work out. But when I realized that whether I have a partner or not, I'm worthy of a peaceful home, I'm worthy of a safe, loving place, that changed everything for me. And actually, while I was in Coburn Place almost 10 years ago, I met the love of my life. We are married now, just celebrated our 8-year anniversary. So the story ends well. He's a volunteer at Coburn Place. He's volunteering right now, helping clean up an event.
It's like a movie.
So I would say you are worthy of that love no matter what. And it is totally okay to go at it alone for some time.
Well, I'm happy that you addressed that because there can be shame attached even to singleness.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you're single, and it's because of this or it's because of that, and it's because, and it's just like, maybe I just haven't met the right person yet.
Absolutely.
And so it's partially not rushing into something that you don't need to be in. Is there anything else?
Peace is most important. Peace, make peace your priority over all things. Because that was my motto in life after my time at Coburn Place. My motto was peace. So as soon as I started to feel something that was disturbing my peace, there was no other reason for them to be in my life or anything. And so peace is so important, and your intuition is absolutely important. You know when things are just not right. And even if the first step is just getting that support and just talking to a friend, a family member, a church member, anybody who would be willing to listen is so important.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that you have reached a place of peace. Yes. I can see it in your smile. I can see it in your face. I can see it. And I hope that every single person that's attached to Coburn Place experiences the same peace that you've experienced, the same joy, the same love, and that they can give back in the same way too. I thank you so much for coming on, and I'm glad I said that because if somebody does want to give back, how? Because you mentioned your husband's a volunteer.
Yes.
And so how can someone do that?
We have tons of ways to volunteer and give back. We have a list that's even longer on our website of common needs that our survivors have. But there's items that we that they can take or opportunities to volunteer. So if there are programs or things you want to teach, a sewing class, a self-help class, maybe you know about budgeting and want to teach that, those are all ways you can volunteer with Coburn Place. Even our favorite volunteer activity, which is setting up an apartment and decorating it and just getting it ready for a family that is about to arrive.
I love, we talked to the Salvation Army, and I love when people are just like, bring your gifts. Like, if you have something that is a gift, then bring it.
Yes.
I just think that is just so wonderful, and I could certainly see it being needed here. So if you all are listening and you hear this, you can volunteer in more than just one way, and you can donate and you can give up your time and yourself and what you know to Coburn Place. Thank you so much, Tracy, for coming on here. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for the work that you do and the mission-centered work that you do. I really appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks again for having us.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be right back, guys.